Welcome to highlights of Stage 6 of La Vuelta a España, right here on GCN Racing. Yesterday we had two races in one. Firstly at the front were Ángel Madrazo, who'd been yo-yoing off the front and off the back of the lead group, eventually came good just at the right time to take one of the most memorable stage victories for some time. Behind, Lopez proved strongest of the GC contenders, coming to the line 12 seconds clear of Roglic and Valverde, taking the red jersey back 14 seconds clear of Roglic. Today could also be described as a summit finish, although not nearly as hard as yesterday's. A shade under 200 kilometres, there were 4 climbs, 2 at the start and 2 near the finish. Perfect for another breakaway success. It took a long time though for that breakaway to form, such was the interest in getting into it. In fact, it took over 50 kilometres of full-on attacking before 11 riders broke clear. Just after the midway point of the stage, there was a huge crash in the bunch before TV coverage began. It led to the withdrawal of Victor de la Part, as well as EF Education first duo Rigoberto Urán and Hugh Carthy. A few Ks later, Nico Roach had also abandoned, though the injuries he sustained from the very crash. It was a quality group out the front: Oliveira, Godon, Turns, Polyansky, Van Garderen, Amirai, Grumet, De La Cruz, Gesink, Brambilla and Jesus Herrada. De La Cruz was the best place on the GC at 4 minutes 35. On the penultimate climb of the day, Grumet decided it was time to light the blue touch paper. He was the first of the break to make a move and quickly established a rather healthy looking time gap. It was up to almost 30 seconds as he went through the 25k to go marker. Behind, there were yet more woes for EF Education first. This time it was TJ Van Garderen crashing out of the breakaway, but thankfully not out of the race. Things can only get better, as they say. Behind Grumet there'd been a flurry of attacks, but the one that stuck was this one from Oliveira of Movistar. He quickly bridged up to Grumet, leaving us 2 out front with 20k's to go. All was not lost though for those behind, who continued to roll through and off and work well together, pegging the gap and making sure it didn't get dangerously out of control. By this point, De La Cruz was the virtual race leader on the road, with Astana not setting a blistering pace behind. Onto the final climb, the leader's advantage had grown to over 40 seconds, but it wasn't long before the action kicked off with the rest of the group. Dylan Teuns biding his time and sensing some weakness from De La Cruz, going on the attack, bridging across to the small group in front and going straight past them. He had Team Cofidis' Jesus Herrada glued to his wheel. They'd go straight past Grumet, who by this point was paying for his efforts, and back up to the wheel of Nelson Oliveira. However, the Movistar rider also wasn't able to stick with the pace, leaving us with 2 out front. Teuns riding his heart out with the strong possibility of taking the leader's red jersey, Herrada happy to sit on the wheel and concentrate on the stage win. Although, as you can see from the grimaces on his face, just sticking on the wheel was not an easy effort. It's one of those weird idiosyncrasies of cycling that 2 riders can both come out of a situation like this pleased with the outcome, and that was exactly the case today. Herrada had enough left to sprint to the line to take his first Grand Tour stage win, whilst Teuns could be content to ride as hard as he could to the line in second place, but almost guaranteed the overall race lead. In the main bunch, there wasn't really much in the way of action until the youthful exuberance of Tadej Pogačar launched into action. He put in a searing acceleration and quickly distanced the rest of the group. Wearing the white jersey on behalf of Lopez, Pogačar is the youngest rider in this race, just 20 years of age, but he certainly doesn't look out of his depth, does he? He'd eventually crossed the line with quite a slim advantage over Pierre Latour and the rest behind, but I, for one, am very excited to see what this young man can do over the remaining 2 weeks. The stage though, all about this man. Jesus Herrada, the Spanish rider from Team Cofidis. That is how much it means to win a stage in your home Grand Tour. Absolutely brilliant to see. His advantage 7 seconds in the end over Dylan Teuns. Great ride from Godon as well in 3rd place for AG2R. Robert Gesink on the same time in 4th. What a season this man's having though. Dylan Teuns just a few weeks ago won his first ever stage of the Tour de France, and now he was leader of the Vuelta a España. 38 seconds clear of De La Cruz, 1 minute clear of the former race leader Miguel Ángel Lopez. Tomorrow we have yet another summit finish, this time on the Mas de la Costa. This climb is short but brutal. 12.3% the average gradient for the last 4Ks with a maximum of 22%. My prediction, Tadej Pogačar. I'll see you again tomorrow.